guys, Clutch Hobo here, back with another video. Today I'm actually showing you guys a video of something that I've never done before. I mean, I've always modded controllers, but I've never made a tutorial on how to do anything like that. Well, yesterday I was bored because, it's the weekend, snowed and iced, couldn't get out of the house, so I decided I was going to go ahead and make another mod. So I actually did an LED mod this time on this controller. I'll show it to you at the end, but first I'm going to show you guys how to do it and what you'll need and everything. And I actually have two different ways to wire them that I'm also going to show you. So let's just get right into it. Alright guys, well here's all the stuff on this table right here is what you're going to need to do this mod. Now, one thing is you will need to solder. I'll go ahead and tell you that before we even get into anything, because some people either won't have a soldering iron or they won't know how. And I'm not good at soldering at all, but I can get it done. Just it doesn't look too good, but it's pretty easy. You guys can probably look up a YouTube video on how to get it. And this is $40 for this one, and then I have one over here that was like $15. So I mean, they don't cost that much at all. So if it's something that you want to pick up, you're going to need soldering for basically any controller mods. The other thing you'll need is a solder vacuum. You won't necessarily need this, but it's helpful just in case you get too much solder or something on one of the joints. And I have a little magnetic tray here for the screws, because all the screws on PS4 controllers are really tiny. As you can see, there's one like that. And you'll need a little screwdriver. Then the next thing I have is flush cutters. Let's see, my camera now. Now, the flush cutters is also optional, but once we get the controller opened up, I'll show you guys why I use them. So the way that I mod the controller, you will need these, but it's optional like I said, so check in later in the video and you'll see what I'm talking about. Now, this just makes your life a whole lot easier when you're soldering, because the wires that you're going to be soldering are basically like a hair. So you see it's got an LED here, and I'll put links to all this in the description, like the wires, solder, and all that. So this is a helping hand, I'm pretty sure is what it's called. See, it's got little clips down here to hold on to whatever you're wanting to solder, and then the magnifying glass to help you. And next we got the LEDs. I actually bought these in a variety pack. It came with like every color. I didn't put purple in this controller. I actually put red and blue, which you'll see once I get that turned on for you. Now, along with these LEDs, they are so high power that if you just wire them directly to the board and you don't use these resistors, then it will actually burn out a lot quicker and it'll run your battery down. So that is something to be aware of. I'll show you how to wire these resistors to them and everything. But yes, you will need resistors for this, unless you get lower grade LEDs. The next thing that you'll need is 30 gauge Kynar wire. I bought a 100-foot spool because I knew I would do several mods with this. So you see there's the wire. That's what you're going to be soldering to the resistors and everything. So like I said, it's basically like soldering a hair. And then you'll need your controller. And I have two options here. I have a clear faceplate and my LEDs are right here and here. And then I have a clear buttons kit and the LED is right here and right here in the center. So let's get right into it, guys. I'm going to go ahead and get these opened up. I don't want to waste time recording that. All you do have on the back is these 4 screws, one right there, one right here, and then same on the opposite side. Now, another thing is, if you've never opened up a controller and changed out any of the parts, I wouldn't proceed with starting off with an LED mod. First, what you might want to do is like do a parts kit change mod. Don't put LEDs in it, just change these colors and everything. Get familiar with the controller before you try doing anything crazy. But that's all up to you guys, so if you do want to proceed and you haven't ever taken apart the controller, then just follow the instructions and you'll probably be fine. Alright guys, we're back, and bear with me here. I've never done a video like this, so it is a little awkward. I got the camera like right in front of me, so I'm going to try to keep my hands out of the way so you guys can see everything, but we'll see how it goes. Alright, now if you've never taken your controller apart before, this is going to be a little rough, and it's kind of going to feel like you're breaking it, but I promise you're not. You see, the back plate actually has this bar that goes up in between these, and these buttons are connected to the front plate. So what you do is first you unsnap it here, so you just pop down on that and hold right there, and then you'll do the same thing on the other side. Now, mine will come apart pretty easy because I've taken this one apart several times already. So then you just work it out as best as you can. Yeah, let me take this off camera real quick so I can pop it out of here. Alright, now that we've got it opened up, the first thing that you're going to have met here is this ribbon cable that leads to the back plate. That's the only thing connecting it. So you just grab it by that blue, pull it on out. Now when you put this back together, what you're going to want to remember, this blue tab should always be facing out. The prongs there should always be going in towards the battery. Okay, so then you just set that aside. Alright, and then we got our battery here. Now what you want to do with that is just unplug it. You got to be careful with these because this one is not very loose. Like I said, you're most likely not going to break it. Some of this stuff takes quite a bit of pressure to undo. So here's what we're working with. Now this you just pull off. Snaps right off. Alright. So let me get a pic here so I can show you guys what I'm talking about. Okay. Now here's my LEDs in here. There's one right there. Then there's one down in here. Now the wiring this is about the cleanest that I could ever get my wiring done because I had to cut them really short and I don't have anything going up here yet. Now I am going to try to wire another LED up in here somewhere. But anyways, the resistor, as you can see, I have some green wires and then I have my resistor wires here. Your resistor's always going to solder to the longer prong on your LEDs. See how one here is offset? It's a lot longer. So your resistor will wire to that one. And then you're going to get a little strip of your Kynar wire, about 3 to 4 inches I'd say, just to leave room for just in case you mess it up. And then that is going to solder to your shorter wire. Alright, now since this is a fairly clean wiring job, you don't have to wrap it around or anything. Nothing's in the way. I'd say you're good to not put an insulator around these wires, but if you get to where you're going like through here or anything and it's crossing all this metal, you are going to have to... Sorry about that. 1 second. Hello. Alright, well that was actually my school calling, and they just canceled our school, so sorry about that, but that's good. Anyways, back to the video. Alright, so what you see here is, now PlayStation is really bad about this. They change their controllers every time they come out with a new one. I don't know why. I guess they don't want people modding them, which is kind of dumb in my opinion. But your controller might be a little different, but for the most part, this is all going to be the same no matter what gen controller you have. So your green Kynar wire is going to wire right here. Now, think about it this way. There's prongs on the thumbstick for it to wire through the board. Here's those prongs right there, right here, right there. This is going to be your negative right here, I believe. Yeah, your negative. So you're going to wire your green wire right there. Then you're going to wire the resistors right here. Now this is for if you want it to be constant, which I'm going to show you the other way to wire it. The constant lights will run your battery down faster, so you'll want it to be plugged in all the time. But here's your other wires on the opposite side. It's always going to be the one facing out that you'll wire the green one to. What I mean by that is the analog port that is farthest off the board, so this one, and then on the bottom too, so that one. And then your resistor will wire right there. Now, if you guys are having any troubles with this, I know it's kind of hard to explain on the video, but if you're having any troubles with this at all, just comment down below and I'll get back to you as soon as I can. And I'm going to try to help everybody out as much as possible. So that's what I've got rolling with this one right now. I'll go ahead and put everything back together and show you what it looks like. But first, I'm going to show you the other wiring option, which is what I have on my gold controller here. So I'll be right back once I get that one apart. Alright guys, I'm back. Now, this controller is a little different, so just pay no attention to the orange little pad here and the white and yellow wires. I actually do have a rapid fire mod installed on this controller also, so that's why there's some extra wires in here. Now, one thing that I did forget to mention to you guys on the last one was why I use the flush cutters. Now, as you'll see here, I take my rumbles out, but here's the thing that holds the rumbles. Now, on the clear controller, if you rewind it, you'll notice I took the flush cutters and I just hacked away at the plastic there and cut it off. And that's not going to hurt anything as long as you only cut the black plastic. So that just frees up some space to put LEDs down in here. Now this one I left them and use them as kind of like a casing for my wires in there, you'll see. So the LED I installed right here and then right here to go behind the touchpads. Now the wiring difference in this one that I was talking about, you'll see these are the rumble pack wires, the pads for them that they're wired to. So basically I just wired my positive to the positive, negative to the negative for the rumble packs. Now this is what you'll want to do. It'll save battery a little bit more if you only want your LEDs to flash when the rumbles would go off. Now I don't have rumbles in here, which that does not affect it, so it actually makes it better if you take your rumbles out, because then when the rumbles would go off in game, like when you're shooting or when you're reloading or whatever, then these will flash and go off. And I kind of like that, but you know, I wanted to stick with the constant on this one just because it's a clear case, so I didn't want it to only go off when it rumbles. And I'd never done a complete mod like that before where it just stays on steady. Now this is a little bit different of a controller, but like I said, you could as well wire it right here and then right there if you want it to be constant. So if you have this gen controller, I think this is a Gen 1, I believe so anyways. But yeah, you would just wire it there and then to the positive. And see, this one's really nice because it actually has the positive labeled. But another way to tell, once you have your controller apart like this, if you just hook up this ribbon cable back in it and then plug it in, and then you just touch the wires to different parts, you'll figure out where you can wire it to. So I mean, it's pretty self-explanatory. But if you guys do need any help, then like I said, leave it down in the comments below. I'll get back to you as quick as I can, and I'll try to help you guys out with all your problems or whatever you need done on this. So it's a pretty easy mod in my opinion. Like I said, I suck at soldering. You can probably tell by some of these. This was my first controller that I ever soldered to though, so don't judge me too much on this one. The other one's a lot better. But it's doable. It's not that bad. I had never soldered before when I did this. I just got my soldering iron and I was like, oh shit, this is actually harder than I thought. So just look up YouTube videos on it. I may actually do one once I get better at soldering on how to solder. So I don't know. Keep an eye out for that in the future, just in case. But besides that, I'm going to go ahead and put these controllers back together and I'll show you what it looks like once you're finished. Alright guys, we are back. I got everything back together and now I'm just going to show you a preview of the lights. That actually does show up very good. Okay, so now see what I mean? Well, on video it actually looks better, but I do want to add more lights up here. I guess it is pretty dark up there. As you can see, there's not a whole lot of light getting to this part of the controller, so I am going to eventually go back in and add more LEDs on these top corners here. So there's that one. As you can see, it's a lot brighter right there. I use hot glue to just keep all the wires in place or wherever I want the LEDs to stay, so that's perfectly fine. That won't damage anything as long as you're not... Well, you got to be careful about where you put it, I guess, but you just don't want to gunk it on too much and just put just enough to hold it in place. So I'm pretty pleased with this one. I like how it turned out. I am not done modding this yet, though. I'm going to add quite a few more things, so keep an eye out for videos on that in the future. Now, I believe I will have to go into a game to get this one to flash on the inside. Yeah, so I'm going to go ahead and get in a match so I can show you guys this one when it lights up. So we'll get right back to that. Alright guys, we are back, and this is the gold controller that I was telling you I wired to where it would only go off when the rumbles go off. So I just started a match of Mod 1 Remastered here. I'm just going to show you a preview. See that? Now, this actually does light up better on the ABXY than it looks like on camera. But that's what it looks like on camera anyways. I wish I could show it to you guys in person. It looks a lot better. But it's pretty cool still. I mean, I kind of like the reactive. I do like the constant though too. I like constant a lot better, I think. And here's the rapid fire mod that I was telling you guys about. See, it lights up that button when it's on and the touchpad. So that's how you know if the rapid fire mod's on or not. Let's see if I can... Yeah, there's a preview of the rapid fire mod that I have on here. I will probably go ahead and put the link to that in the description below too. See, I'm just holding down on that, and this is semi-automatic pistol, so this is with the rapid fire mod. So it also has like 36 other modes rather than just rapid shooting. So I'll leave the description, or I'll leave the link for that in the description below also. But if you guys did enjoy this video, then please leave a like, comment, and if there's any other videos that you guys would like to see from me about controller modding or Mod 1 or Call of Duty Infinite Warfare, anything like that, then just comment down below and we will get some more footage out for you guys on that. I probably will do a follow-up soon on the controllers, because this one, like I said, I'm not satisfied with yet. I like how it turned out so far, but I am going to add some more stuff in there. So once again, thank you guys for watching. Leave a like and subscribe if you're new.